because you have terminated programs, you have fired staff. What are you going to do with that money that was already appropriated?
Well, again, we're waiting for OMB guidance, and obviously they'll reach out and work with Congress on these funds that have not been
OMB
spent.
is not working with Congress. The president is not working with Congress. You are not working with the Congress. We need to understand, if we are going to appropriate dollars, what it is that has happened. What is it that you propose to do with the billions of dollars that you have expropriated? If you
Yeah, again,
will?
that's a function, as you know, that's OMB has those decisions to make, and they'll have to work with you on it.
Then I guess you don't have much control over your agency, Mr.
Well,
Secretary.
ultimately, well, we
According
have
to
a lot of
public-
hire new people,
Let me
including,
just
as
say,
I've already.
you have,
well,
my time is short, Mr. Secretary.
so is mine, and that's why I want to tell you that
well,
we're
my
also
time
going
is
to bring in
short
people
here.
from USAID.
My time is short. I reclaim my time.
Did you just see Rosa DeLauro try to lecture Marco Rubio about accountability while sitting on decades of bloated, unaudited foreign aid budgets? The audacity is unreal. This Democrat walked into that hearing with a script full of inflated numbers, emotional manipulation, and zero facts, and Rubio dismantled every single word of it in real time. This is exactly the kind of swamp protection racket that has been bleeding your tax dollars dry for years, and they are furious that someone finally showed up to check the receipts. Stay till the end because we are breaking down every moment of this beatdown. Hit that like button, subscribe right now, and do not go anywhere. The full breakdown is coming after this clip.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I just might quickly say that a while ago we had a briefing by USAID senior officials, Jim Cunder, Chris Milligan, and just a quote, what has been done was an 84% cut to USAID. It scatters the remnants of USAID across a dozen state bureaus and almost guarantees that our competitors will dominate in local competition. The fact is, people have been fired and agencies and programs have been terminated. Secretary Rubio, human lives have been lost. Extensive damage is done to the U.S. international standing under your watch. This would not have happened if the administration had followed the law and congressional intent. Congress appropriated foreign aid funding with a clear set of directives, yet with no notice to Congress. The administration has broken the law, completely dismantled U.S. Foreign aid, hijacked funding for the State Department and USAID at the behest of Elon Musk and Doge. I might just say, you don't have the authority, Elon Musk doesn't have the authority, the president doesn't have the authority, and OMB doesn't have the authority. The authority to appropriate funding comes from this body, the United States Congress, and it is so stated in the Constitution. You're now sitting on billions of dollars. This subcommittee, which appropriated that funding in the first place, has no idea of how you plan to use them. Secretary, how do you plan to spend your agency's remaining fiscal year 2025 money, if not as directed by the Congress?
Well, I think the president through OMB is going to work with you and the Congress on how best to, reset the funding levels for the new year and how to move those funds. And we await OMB guidance in that regard.
Well, I would just say for months we have been asking for a list of which programs were cut and why, and all we have received is this unintelligible spreadsheet, a sheet that does not seem to reflect reality. We need clear answers on how you need to plan to spend this year's funding, and asking for a commitment that you let us know, because you have terminated programs, you have fired staff. What are you going to do with that money that was already appropriated?
Well, again, we're waiting for OMB guidance, and obviously they'll reach out and work with Congress on these funds that have not been
OMB
spent.
is not working with Congress. The president is not working with Congress. You are not working with the Congress. We need to understand, if we are going to appropriate dollars, what it is that has happened. What is it that you propose to do with the billions of dollars that you have expropriated? If you will?
Again, that's a function, as you know, that's OMB has those decisions to make, and they'll have to work with you on it.
Then I guess you don't have much control over your agency, Mr.
Well,
Secretary.
ultimately, well,
According
we have
to
a lot of
public
control
reporting,
because
you have terminated more than 90% of USAID programs, 60% of programs at state. All are the firing of all our development experts in the next few weeks, and are preparing to fire hundreds more at the State Department. We need an accountability. And if we can't, I don't know, if we can't get it from the Secretary, then from whom are we going to get this accountability? It is your department.
Well, with all due respect, some of your numbers are incorrect. We have not cut 60% of the funding at the State Department. If you're referring to the budget request, that's different. There has not been mass layoffs at the State Department. I think there's been less than 200 200 people that have been riffed from the State Department. From the
I'm
State
talking
Department.
about, well, USAID. And
Oh,
now
well,
you
that's a
plan-
different one,
Well,
right.
no, it's not a different issue. You now plan to take on, and the gentleman said you're going to scatter the remnants of
That's false.
USAID throughout the State Department. Who is going to make sure appropriated funds are spent properly?
Well, they're not going to be scattered. They're actually going to be consolidated in a couple of funds that deliver, for example, International Humanitarian Assistance Fund. We'll also have an increase to the Emergency Refugee and Migration Assistance
You
Fund.
mentioned previous secretaries who have moved in this direction, and I just want to say to you that they decided not to do it because it was ill-advised. 15% of the planned cuts, there's 15% planned cuts of state staff. Now, who is going to make sure that appropriated funds are spent properly if you have fired all the staff with experience overseeing the process? Will you personally be approving every expenditure? I know you have a lot of jobs already.
No, we're not. First of all, we haven't fired any experienced staff other than the people that were riffed out of the 2 divisions in the department. But other than that, I said at the State Department, there's been only under 200 people have been removed. Some have retired and so forth, but that's normal in any cycle. We are also going to hire new people,
Let me
including,
just
as
say,
I've already.
you have,
well,
my time is short, Mr. Secretary.
so is mine, and that's why I want to tell you that
well,
we're
my
also
time
going
is
to bring in
short
people
here.
from USAID.
My time is short. I reclaim my time. You've terminated key monitoring and evaluation programs. Allow us to account for the use of this funding. How does allowing the money to flow out the door while hamstringing your own ability to track that money make our government more efficient and prevent waste, fraud, and abuse? It's clear that from the administration and Musk that the process is ignorant of the purpose of foreign aid, utterly unprepared to manage their own dictates, taking a chainsaw to foreign aid with no concern for human lives or the broader consequences for our security, no plan for the future. I yield back. Thank you.
Rubio was right and DeLauro knows it. That is exactly why she kept cutting him off. When you are losing on the facts, you reclaim your time. She threw out numbers like confetti, 84% cuts, mass layoffs, thousands fired, and Rubio calmly walked up to every single one of those claims and torched them. Under 200 people rifted from the State Department. Not thousands. Not hundreds of thousands. Under 200. She was reading a horror story that was not happening. And the chainsaw line? Pure theater. Democrats have spent decades treating foreign aid like a slush fund with no oversight, no accountability, and no results. And the moment someone dares to consolidate, audit, and restructure it, suddenly they care deeply about the process. Where was this energy when billions were disappearing into programs that nobody could track and nobody could explain? Rubio never lost his composure. When DeLauro snapped, "My time is short, Mr. Secretary," he looked her dead in the eye and said, "So is mine." That is the response of a man who is done being talked down to by people who created the very mess they are now pretending to mourn. The era of blank checks to broken bureaucracies is over, and the left cannot stand it because their entire power base depends on keeping that money flowing with zero scrutiny. Rubio just turned the lights on, and the roaches are scrambling.